She always kept the letter tucked away between the pages of her favorite novel, a novel she'd read so many times the spine threatened to give way. On the outside, Anna seemed like any other woman in her late 20s, living in a small town in Vermont, balancing work at the local bakery with evenings spent curled up on her worn sofa, the glow of the lamp casting gentle shadows on her walls. But inside, Anna carried stories she rarely shared, feelings she could not quite express, and a letter she never found the courage to send. The story began years earlier, in the summer when everything felt possible. The air was thick with the scent of wildflowers, and laughter echoed from the lake where Anna and her childhood friend, James, spent endless afternoons. James was the kind of person who made the world seem larger and kinder. His easy smile, his knack for finding beauty in the ordinary, and his way of listening as if every word mattered. Through high school and into college, their friendship deepened, woven with secrets, shared dreams, and the quiet comfort of knowing someone understood. But life has a way of changing course. James left for a university in California, chasing a scholarship and the promise of adventure. Anna stayed behind, tending to her family and the bakery that had been in her family for generations. Letters and phone calls kept them close at first, but over time, the distance grew. Messages became infrequent, visits rare. Anna told herself it was simply life. People drift, priorities shift, and sometimes letting go is the only way forward. Yet, there was always one thing she never told James. It lingered in the pauses between conversations, in the way her heart fluttered when his name appeared on her phone, in the ache she felt watching him chase his dreams while she stood still. She wrote a letter one summer evening after seeing him at a friend's wedding. The letter was honest and raw, filled with words she'd never said aloud. Her gratitude for his friendship, her fears of being left behind, and the truth she'd buried deep: she loved him. Anna poured her heart into the letter, explaining how his laughter had colored her world, how his encouragement helped her believe in herself, and how every goodbye left her wondering if she'd ever find someone who understood her so well. She wrote of the bakery, of mornings spent kneading dough and dreaming of something more. She wrote of the loneliness that crept in, despite the comfort of familiar faces. And she wrote of hope that maybe, one day, they could find their way back to each other. She signed the letter with trembling hands, but never mailed it. Days turned into weeks, then months. Anna tucked the letter between the pages of her novel, telling herself it was better this way. She didn't want to risk their friendship. She didn't want to burden him with her feelings. And so, the letter remained unsent, a secret she carried as she moved through the rhythms of her life. Years passed. The seasons shifted, bringing new joys and new sorrows. Anna watched friends marry, have children, change careers. She watched her parents grow older, their laughter softening with each passing year. The bakery became her sanctuary, a place where she could create, where the scent of cinnamon and sugar filled the air, where she could lose herself in the simple act of making something with her hands. Occasionally, James would call or send a postcard from a city she'd only dreamed of visiting. His words were always warm, asking about her family, the bakery, the little details that made up her world. Anna responded with kindness, masking the longing in her heart with cheerful updates and gentle reminders of home. She wondered if he felt the distance too, if he ever thought of the letter he never received. One autumn, Anna found herself walking along the edge of the lake where they'd spent so many summers. The trees were ablaze with color, their leaves drifting down like confetti. She sat on the old dock, the wood creaking beneath her, and listened to the quiet. For the first time in years, she let herself remember, not just the laughter and shared secrets, but the ache of unsaid words, the possibility of what might have been. She realized then that the letter was never about changing their story. It was about giving voice to the feelings she'd hidden away, about honoring the truth of her heart. The act of writing it had been an act of courage, even if she never sent it. In its pages were her hopes, her fears, and her love, a testament to the bond they shared and the person she'd become because of it. Anna returned to her bustling life, carrying the quiet wisdom of that afternoon with her. She learned to cherish the connections she had, to speak her truth even when it felt risky, and to let go of the idea that love needs to be reciprocated to matter. The The letter remained tucked away, a gentle reminder of the power of vulnerability. One winter evening, as snow drifted softly outside, Anna received a message from James. He'd moved back east, wanting to be closer to family, craving the comfort of old friends. They met for coffee, their conversation easy and familiar, filled with laughter and shared memories. Anna felt the old longing stir, but this time, she chose honesty. She told him about the letter, about the feelings she'd carried, about the ways he'd shaped her life. James listened, his eyes kind. He spoke of his own regrets, of the paths not taken, of the moments he'd wished he'd reached out. Their friendship, once shaped by distance and silence, grew stronger in the light of their confessions. They laughed about the unpredictability of life, about how much they'd changed, and about how some bonds survive even when words are left unsaid. Anna never sent the letter, but she no longer needed to. Its meaning lived in the choices she made, in the way she embraced honesty, and in the peace she found within herself. She understood now that some stories are written not in ink, but in the way we love, in the courage it takes to speak our truth, and in the quiet acceptance of what is and what will be. As the years stretched on, Anna continued to fill her life with meaning, new friendships, new adventures, new beginnings. The letter remained in her novel, a silent witness to her journey. And though she never sent it, she knew its message had been heard in the ways that mattered most. In the end, the letter she never sent was less a story of regret and more a story of growth, of finding strength in vulnerability, and of learning that sometimes the most meaningful words are the ones we say to ourselves. Anna's life became a tapestry of moments, each one shaped by love, by courage, and by the gentle wisdom of a letter written, but never mailed. And in that quiet space, she discovered that her story was enough.